Hello, good afternoon, dear students. Hope the video is visible and my voice is audible. How are you all doing? Hope you're all doing good. Uh, Quite of you must be surprised. The class was scheduled for some other lecturer, and here comes some other lecturer, right? Hope you all had your food. ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಲಂಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Welcome back to the class. I think most of you are listening to my class for the first time, I guess. All right. If the voice and the video is clear, do drop a comment in the comment box. Yes. Hello. Ah, okay. I'm getting quite a few replies there. Good afternoon. All good. Yes. So, to begin with, myself, Prajvit Rai. This is the first class I'm taking for you, I guess. But yeah, it is clear then. Myself, Prajvit Rai. I have been in connection with Excel since many years. I have been working as a botany lecturer from past a few years. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಟ್ನಿ ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾ ಯಾ ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್? ಐ ವೋಂಟ್ ಟಚ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಶ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಇಬ್ಬರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ, ಯಾರು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ನ. ಐ ಗೆಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಪಿ ಯು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಇದರದ್ದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇರೋದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ is very important for you. How do organisms reproduce? What is actually reproduction according to you? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ reproduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? What is reproduction according to you? Yeah. ಏನು reproduction ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇದೆ. But what have you understood? Reproduction. Why reproduction is needed? ಯಾಕೆ reproduction ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಕು? ಹೇಗೆ reproduction ಆಗ್ತದೆ? All these topics we'll be studying in this chapter. Reproduction is nothing but it is a production of new organisms. It is a production of what? New organisms or young ones, to be in normal words. Okay, normal terms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ production of young ones, or it is a production of new organisms. Does it mean new species? No. ಹೊಸದೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ನ ಹೊಸದೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ನ ತರೋದಾ? ನಾಟ್ ಎಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇಂದ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ನ ತರೋದು ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ does it mean producing a new species? Species ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬಹುದು most of all. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? See, human being is a species. Human being is a species. Homo sapiens we call it. Tiger, it is a separate species. Okay, where ನಾನು I am an individual. ನನ್ನ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಅಥವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರೋ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ all of us belong to same species, that is Homo sapiens. So reproduction refers to, it is the production of new organisms from the already existing organism. This marks an important here. ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Already existing organism of the same species is known as reproduction. Hope it is clear. You have to be familiar with this definition. Reproduction andre it is nothing but producing a new organism or a new individual from the already existing individual of the same species. Clear? Next, why reproduction is important? ಯಾಕೆ reproduction ಅನ್ನೋದು important ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? Why reproduction is very important? What is the significance? Because why reproduction is very much needed, if you ask, it is a process which ensures continuity of life on earth. ಇವತ್ತಿಗಾಗುವಾಗ if reproduction was not there, then ಈಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ life ಅಲ್ಲಿ there would have been only one individual, right? Only one individual ಇದ್ದಿರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. But when reproduction took place, when an organism continued its generation after generation through reproduction, still now we have life on this earth. ಈಗಲೂ ಲೈಫ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ, if that organism wasn't capable of having reproduction, or if that organism did not reproduce, then even now either we could have only one organism, there could have been only one organism, or if that organism died, then there could have been zero organisms. But because of reproduction, this ensured the continuity of life on earth. ಮುಂದೆ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಅರ್ತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೀಡೆಡ್? reproduction is very much needed. reproduction ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಲೈಫ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Is that clear? Yes. Next, it is also essential for the survival of a species on this earth. The same, both are one and same, but it differs in words ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Reproduction is essential for the survival of any species on earth. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್, ಹೋಮೋ ಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಆ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಉಳಿಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ it has to undergo what? It has to undergo reproduction, or else that species would be lost. So for the survival of a species on this earth, which process is very much important? Reproduction is very much important. Is that clear? The significance of reproduction and the definition of reproduction. I hope it is clear for many. Is there any doubt on this? I guess someone is asking regarding ICSE, CBSE, state syllabus. CBSE and in state syllabus you can find this chapter. I'm not sure about the ICSE syllabus. Okay, in CBSE this is there, in state syllabus also it is there. Okay, so this is the significance of reproduction. Next, generally whenever you hear the word reproduction, I guess someone is having doubt. What is that doubt? If you have any doubt, you can ask it in the comment box itself. Okay. Please explain Urey and Miller experiment. I think we are going in an order. That order will be disturbed. When that comes into the discussion, I'll definitely discuss that. Okay, someone wants me to explain it again? Sure. See, uh, one of the major life processes, or one of the major processes that define a thing living, is reproduction. ಒಂದು ಥಿಂಗ್ನ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ there are many processes that take place. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ one of the major one is reproduction ಕೂಡ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು. What is reproduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Reproduction is nothing but it is the production of new organism. ಹೊಸದೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಹೇಗೆ ಮೆಷಿನರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗೇನಾ? ಅಲ್ಲ. From the already existing, we are not finding out something new. From the already existing organism, a new organism is getting synthesized, a new individual is getting synthesized, which is of same species. Species galandre, a human is a species, a dog is a species, a cat is a species. Clear? Humans ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೊಂಥರ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಇನ್ನೊಂಥರ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಕೇಳೋರಿದ್ದೀರ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ಸೊ reproduction is nothing but production of new individual of already existing organism of the same species. Humans in the humans ಹೊಸ member to the human species or human community ಬರೋದು, that is reproduction. ಹೈಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೈಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಹೈಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಬರೋವಂಥದ್ದು, that is called as a reproduction. Why reproduction is very much important if you ask? It is because it ensures the continuity of life on earth. ಅರ್ತ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ reproduction is very important. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದಾಗ ಒಂದೇ ಲೈಫ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, reproduction ಇಲ್ಲ. It was a bacteria or it was a human ಅಲ್ಲ, but still, for example, for this instance, let us take ಯಾವುದೊಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇತ್ತು while forming the earth ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, one individual, ಒಂದೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ. Now, if there was no reproduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Creating new organism of the same species from the already existing one. ಹೊಸದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ನ ತರುವಂತ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ವಾಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ದಿ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ನಾವು? ಇವಾಗಿನ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು? ಈದರ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಇವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಆರ್ ಲೈಫೇ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅರ್ತ್ ಮೇಲೆ. ರೈಟ್? ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್, ಒಂದೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದಾಗಿದ್ದು, reproduction ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ, one fine day if that individual goes on extinction, ಅದು ಸತ್ತೋದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತಾ? ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ reproduction is essential for the survival of a species on this earth. A species, just now I explained what is a species. ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ಡಾಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ರೈಟ್? ನೋ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯಾವ್ದ್ರದ್ದು ನೋ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ನೋ ಫಾರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಫ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ? ದರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು, ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚುಯಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್, ಬೋತ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮವಾಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆನ್ಸ್? ಇಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಎನ್ಶೂರ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆನ್ ಅರ್ತ್. ಲೈಫ್ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Second point ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, reproduction is essential for survival of a species on earth. For example, humans is the scientific name, I think you might know this, homo sapiens. So homo sapiens ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು species, if it has to continue for generation after generation, ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ಉಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ what is required, reproduction is required. I think some of your doubts have been cleared. If yes, please drop yes. Okay, moving on. Next is the type of reproduction. Generally, we simply know only one type of reproduction, which includes the copulation of a male and female. Andre male and female include agiro ಒಂದು type of reproduction ಮಾತ್ರ we know, that is a fusion something. Okay, that is the only thing we know. But actually there are two basic types of reproduction. But now we should have to specify as homo sapiens sapiens. Yes sir, that is correct. Now we are homo sapiens sapiens. Yeah, your answer is perfect. Okay, variation, I'll come to variation when there is involvement of variation. Okay, yavaga variation barutte avaga I'll explain what is variation, right? Okay, ನಾನು ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ we know only one type of reproduction which includes male and female copulation ಅಥವಾ ಎರಡು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ನ ತರಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು. But on a factual basis, actually there are two types of reproduction, which is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The two types of reproduction are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. You are all familiar with the sexual reproduction, but you are not familiar with the asexual one. Generally, we humans do not show asexual reproduction. That is why we are not that much familiar with that thing. Then what is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction. Here, it is a type of production of new organisms from a single parent. From a single parent. What is homo sapien? I guess your spelling is a bit wrong there. Homo sapiens is a scientific name of human. Earlier human, now homo sapiens, variety sapiens anta bandide. Okay, scientific name, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಗಳು scientific name ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಜನರಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, I usually take the example of onions or onion ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ. It has different names in different regions. Just in our Karnataka ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಉಳ್ಳಾಗಡ್ಡಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಕಾಂದ ಅಂತಾರೆ. There are many names for that. Okay, there are many names for that. But world level ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇನ್ನೆಷ್ಟು ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ವರ್ನಾಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲೋಕಲ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೇನೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದೇ ನೇಮ್ ಕರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು there is a name for each and every organism that has been identified so far. We call it as biological name or scientific name. ಇಡೀ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಹೆಸರು. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಟಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕಲಿ, ಅಮೆರಿಕ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅನೇಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏಲಿಯಂ ಸೇಪಾ ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ನೇಮ್ ಏಲಿಯನ್ ಸೇಪಾ. ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೂ ಏಲಿಯಂ ಸೇಪಾನೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹೋದಾಗ್ಲೂ ಏಲಿಯಂ ಸೇಪಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೋಮೋಸೇಪಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಬಯೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ asexual type ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is involvement of only single parent. ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಹೊಸ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ನ ತರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, and there is no involvement of sex cells or gametes. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. There is no involvement of sex cells or gametes. Many off-topic doubts are coming. I like clarify that at the end. Okay, what does the karyokinesis ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದೀರಾ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಲೇಟರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದಾಗಿ there is no involvement or without the involvement of the sex cells is called as asexual. That is the name, asexual. Okay, there is no involvement of any sex organs or gametes for that matter. Only single parent, ಒಂದೇ parent involvement ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. Next is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, most of you are familiar with this. Us humans, we also show the same type of reproduction. Sexual reproduction is nothing but it is the production of new organisms from two parents, by making use of their sex cells or gametes. ಎರಡು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್, one more will be the female gamete. By the fusion of male and female gametes, you arrive at a new organism which may be either male or female. This type of reproduction is known as sexual reproduction. Okay, that is sexual reproduction. Is that clear? There is a column that shows the differences between the both. Okay, ಎರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸುವಂತ ಎರಡು ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. Asexual reproduction, only one parent. Sexual reproduction, how many parents? Two parents. Two parents are needed. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed. And in asexual reproduction, there is no involvement of sex cells or gametes. ಯಾವುದೇ gametes ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮೇಲಲ್ಲಿ sperm ಇರಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ egg or ovum ಇರಬಹುದು. Whereas sexual reproduction, it involves sex cells or gametes. Okay, and generally when two gametes fuse, they result in formation of a zygote. Yellow is not visible. Okay, then I will not use the color. Okay, a color I use madala next. There is no fusion of gametes takes place in asexual reproduction. That is why zygote is not formed. Zygote formation will not take place because direct development agodrinda, direct formation agodrinda zygote formation agodilla. ಒಂದೇ organism ಇಂದ ಬರೋದ್ರಿಂದ. Only when there is a fusion, there is formation of zygote. Are you clear with the asexual and sexual reproduction? If yes, do drop a text or a comment. I guess you are clear with the sexual and asexual reproduction. Yes. Moving to the next, we have asexual reproduction. There are many types in asexual reproduction. Generally, there is one more segment called as vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction antanu ಇದೆ, that also comes under asexual reproduction only. Vegetative reproduction ಅಲ್ಲಿ asexual reproduction ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ almost same ಬರುತ್ತೆ. If you hear the term vegetative reproduction, ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೊಸ type of reproduction ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. It also comes under the asexual reproduction only, right? So the first type under asexual reproduction is fission. In this, mostly unicellular organisms show this type of reproduction. Unicellular organisms idana ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಈ type of reproduction na. Basically, then what is reproduced in asexual reproduction? I am not getting your question. Make it clear. Okay, generally most of the bacteria, they show fission type. Okay, amoeba ide, most of the unicellular. Do you know what is unicellular? Unicellular organism andre enu? Organism having a single cell. Its whole body is made up of single cell. Adara purti body is made up of single cell. They show this kind of asexual reproduction. What happens here? Illi enagutte? Here the organism splits or divides into two or more new organisms. ಒಂದ ಎರಡು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೂರು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಈ ತರ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಈದರ್ ಟು ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್. ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಆರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ divide ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು it may form into two organisms. The type is known as fission. The type of sexual reproduction is known as fission. Okay, there are two types of fission. There are two types of fission. The two types of fission are binary fission and multiple fission. Binary fission and multiple fission. See, you said that zygote is not formed, right? So what does it reproduce? Zygote will not be formed. Directly a new organism will be formed. Zygote anna madhyadalliro stage iralla. Generally sexual reproduction alli enagutte, the male and female gametes fuse. They will form into a cell. ಒಂದು cell ಆಗಿ form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That cell undergo division, division after division, division after division, it will form zygote, then an embryo. First ಗೆ zygote form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎರಡು fuse ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ. Then it will undergo division after division, it will form embryo. Embryo will be developed into a new organism. ಅಷ್ಟು long process ಇಲ್ಲ, direct development into a new organism. For example, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, this is a type of asexual reproduction, so you will know ಹೇಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Generally there are two types of fission. They are binary fission and multiple fission. In binary fission, binary, there is a word binary, two, right? So the asexual reproduction, some will call the new identical offerings as a daughter cell. Is it okay to say that daughter cells are produced, or should we have to? No, the daughter cell word wouldn't be more apt here. Okay, new identical organism will be better. Whenever there is bacteria, ನಾನು simple example ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ you have only single cell, ಹಂಗಂತೇಳಿ ಇದು ಸೆಲ್ ಅಂತೀವ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತೀವ? ಮೇಜರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾದ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, right? So it would be better to call it as identical organism than daughter cell. Okay, daughter cell anta kariyodakkinta identical organism anta kariyodu would be better. Okay, so binary fission, the name itself suggests bi, that means two. Here the parent organism splits into two new organisms. ಒಂದು parent organism ಇದೆ, ಇದು split ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು it will form into two new organisms. ಎರಡು ಹೊಸ organisms ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. For example, binary fission in amoeba. It can take place in any place, any plane. There is difference. Symmetry ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರೇಡಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೈಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು ಜನರಲಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಇಂದ ಎರಡು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಇನ್ ಅಮೀಬಾ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ಲೇನ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎರಡು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಮೀಬಾ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಆಗಿನೇ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಹೊಸ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆಗಿನೇ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ it can take place in any plane. Organism ಹೀಗಿದೆ, it undergoes development. ನೋಡಿ ಸೈಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it again undergoes elongation, ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗುತ್ತೆ, later splitting into two halves. ಎರಡು ಹಾಫ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲೈಶ್ಮೇನಿಯಾ is nothing but it is a protozoan ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it is a class of it comes under a kingdom protista ಅನ್ನೋ kingdom under ಬರುತ್ತೆ protozoans. So leishmania is generally, it is a parasitic, it causes diseases. Okay, ಬೇರೆ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ leishmaniasis ಅಂತಾನೆ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ಫಿಷನ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಡೆಫಿನಿಟ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್, ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಮೀಬಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಥರ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಟೈನ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್ ಟು ಇಟ್. ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಶೇಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ಲೇನ್, but leishmania has its own shape attached to it. That is why it takes place in a definite orientation, dividing the organism into two parts ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ this type of fission is known as binary fission. See here, leishmania ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇರ್ತು, ದೆನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎರಡು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯೈ ಎರಡಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೋ ಅವಾಗೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಕೈನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಕೈನೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಯಾರೊಬ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಕೈನೆಸಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್, ಇನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ division of nucleus. Kinesis refers to division. Kinesis refers to division. The word karyo or karyon refers to nucleus. Karyon andre nucleus, kinesis andre division. Okay, karyon andre nucleus, kinesis andre division. So here karyokinesis andre division of nucleus. You can see the stages of development. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗೆಲ್ಲ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಷನ್ ಲೇಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ. Okay, what about paramecium? In paramecium also it is a binary fission. Paramecium and binary fission in a definite orientation it takes place. Here cell split ಆಗೋದಲ್ಲ, cell divide ಆಗೋದು. Okay, cell divide ಆಗೋದು. Can you explain mitosis? Explaining mitosis would take I think it takes an additional class. Okay, after these topics completed, I'll take on mitosis, cell division, right? Yeah, in bryophyllum also vegetative propagation takes place. It is not fission. Okay, what is a malarial parasite? I guess you are asking which is a parasite that causes malaria. Malaria cause ಮಾಡುವಂತ parasite ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, right? It is Plasmodium vivax ಅಂತ. Okay, Plasmodium vivax ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮಲೇರಿಯಾನ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ parasite. Now on to the multiple fission. Even in Plasmodium, the multiple fission takes place. Plasmodium, as I said earlier, it causes malaria disease na cause ಮಾಡುವಂತ pathogen Plasmodium ಅಲ್ಲಿ multiple fission ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, where one parent organism splits into many new organisms at the same time. That is why malaria spreads easily. ಒಬ್ಬರ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲೇರಿಯಾ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದೇ ರೀಸನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ. ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಫಿಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದೇ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೆನಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್. ಒಂದೇ ಇದ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಫಿಷನ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ two types of fission, that is binary fission and multiple fission. Hope it is clear. Next type of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Next type is fragmentation, mainly observed in algae. Have you heard of the term algae? Algae ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಚಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು, algae. Okay, in layman's term in Kannada we call them as ಪಾಚಿ. Okay, mainly observe ಆಗೋದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ plant bodies ಅಲ್ಲಿ highly you can observe fragmentation. Fragmentation is nothing but breaking up of body. It is not splitting, it is not division, it is breaking up of body of a simple organism into two or more pieces. Two or more pieces on maturing. Okay, on maturing. Sir, why does leishmania divide in a longitudinal way instead of any direction? See, in leishmania what happens is, it is not getting split, it is getting divided. ಅವಾಗ ಯಾರೋ ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಕೈನೆಸಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗೆಂಗೋ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೈಟೋಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪಿಂಡಲ್ ಫೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. They will not divide cell in any plane that it wants. It divides in a particular plane. Equal division ಆಗಬೇಕು. That is why in leishmania you can observe in a single direction, definite longitudinal direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ split ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು, divide ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು. ಓಕೆನಾ? It is due to the action of spindle fibers. Spindle fibers ಎರಡು ಪೋಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. So it pieces on maturing, each of which subsequently grows into form a complete new organism. See here, at first this was a whole organism. On maturing what happened? The body of it broke into two pieces. ಅದರ ಬಾಡಿ ಎರಡು ಪೀಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ಅದರ ಬಾಡಿ ಎರಡು ಪೀಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಕಟ್ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟು ದೋಸ್ ಟು ಪೀಸಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪೀಸ್ 1, ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪೀಸ್ 2. ನೌ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ನೌ ನ್ಯೂ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್. ಇದೆರಡು ಕೂಡ ಹೊಸ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್. ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಿ pieces of any individual, they are the new organisms or individuals. ಅದೇ ಹೊಸ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ or organism ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This type is known as fragmentation. There is difference between fission and fragmentation. Okay, fission ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಲಿ ಬಾಡಿ ದೂರ ದೂರ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಆರ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎರಡು ಹೊಸ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಬಟ್ here in fragmentation, sometimes fragmentation can occur by external force as well. External force ಇಂದಾನು fragmentation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Where do you observe fragmentation? Example is Spirogyra. And they have given here what is the basic difference between a fission and fragmentation. ಏನು basic difference ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ? In fission it takes place in unicellular organism. Fragmentation takes place in multicellular organism. That's the best difference and the apt difference between fragmentation and fission. Fission takes place in unicellular organisms like bacteria or protista, etc. But fragmentation takes place in multicellular organisms. Clear? Yes, clear? Filamentous. I think you're asking what is filamentous, right? Fission and fragmentation are similar. No, 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 they are not similar. Fission takes place in unicellular organism, fragmentation takes place in multicellular organism. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗೋದು, ಸಿ ಫಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಎರಡು ಸೆಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೋಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ಪೀಸಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಇಂಟು ನ್ಯೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. ಓಕೆ, why is fragmentation not possible in complex organism like humans? See, these organisms, their body is very simple compared to humans. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಕ್ಲೋರೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಗನಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಈವನ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಪೊಸೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಗ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಏನು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಲೆಗ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಲೆಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್. ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಕ್. ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಥ್ರೆಡ್ ಲೈಕ್. ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ಗ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಆರ್ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾಗಳು ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟಿಸ್ಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯೂನಿಸೆಲ್ಯುಲರ್. ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ನ ಕರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಥರದ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಆರ್ ದೇರ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ unicellular. Okay, why fragmentation in complex organisms? For example, ನನ್ನ ಕೈ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಎರಡು ಪೀಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪೀಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಇದು ಬೇರೆ ಪೀಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. ವೆದರ್ ಮೈ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿವರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಫಿಷನ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಫ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಟೂ in a complex organism, okay, in a complex organism, if a body gets cut into two, there is no possibility to develop all the organ systems or organs. ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಟೂ ಪೀಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಪೀಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is no possibility to form all the organs that a body needs in complex organisms. That is why you cannot observe regeneration or fragmentation in complex organisms. Spirogyra is a multicellular organism. Yes, it is a multicellular organism. Sir, when you close this live, first you learn English, then I'll close this live. Okay, or else you can close it by yourself only. I think you don't know that. Let me teach you. Come here. Okay, and filamentous, somebody asked what is filamentous. Filamentous means thread like. Simple meaning, thread like structure. Filamentous refers to thread like structure. Okay, and someone asked another question, I forgot that. Example for multiple fission. Example for multiple fission is, there is a algae. Okay, there is an alga, unicellular alga, which shows multiple fission as well. That is Chlamydomonas. There is an alga called as Chlamydomonas. This Chlamydomonas also shows multiple fission. Okay, this Chlamydomonas also shows multiple fission. Okay, it forms around 2 to 16 cells per fission. ಒಂದು ಫಿಷನ್ಗೆ 2 to 16 cells ನ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ Chlamydomonas. Okay, Chlamydomonas has the ability to form 2 to 16 cells per division. Hope all your doubts are cleared. If you have any doubt, you can drop it in the comment box. Do you have any doubt? Okay. Yes. So this was about fragmentation. Next is regeneration. I think you might have heard about hydra or planaria or about regeneration very often. Right? What is regeneration? Regeneration is nothing but it is a process of getting back a full organism from its body part. From a single part of a body, from a single part of a body, whole organism is developed, that is known as regeneration. To regeneration, okay, Chlamydomonas, it is a name of alga. Okay, Chlamydomonas is a name of alga. ಒಂದು alga ಪಾಚಿದು ಹೆಸರು. It is a unicellular alga, right? Yes, sorry for the technical glitch that happened. Okay, sorry for the technical glitch that happened. So regeneration, where a full organism is again created from just a body part. On the body part in the whole organism create aguntadu. The cell should have special ability for that. Okay, cell ಗೆ special ability ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, or else it cannot be done. So the examples for that is hydra and planaria. Planaria the image na ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. Okay, sir, we are also multicellular organism. That means we also can't also we do fragmentation because you only told it takes place in multi-organ. See, uh, hydra is also an example for budding. Hydra also shows your regeneration. Okay, hydra even shows regeneration as well. How does the regeneration help organism maintain their population even when physically damaged? Very good question. I'll come back to that. I think someone has asked multicellular organism ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ fragmentation. Plant is also multicellular organism. We humans are also multicellular organism, but we can't perform photosynthesis. Why? Because we do not have chloroplast. That is why. In the same way, ನಾನು ಅವಾಗಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, in order to perform fragmentation, if you take example of Spirogyraದಲ್ಲಿ there is no complex organ systems or organs for that matter. Tissues ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ, to be more specific, tissues ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ. Complex organ system ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವಾಗ, when there is no complex organ system, then even half part is also it also has the ability to develop into new organism. But being humans, we have complex systems, we have particular places for that. Heart ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, lungs ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, stomach ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು, intestine should be here somewhere, right? So we have complex body organization. Okay, complex body organization. So if a part of our body is cut off, and if you want that to develop into new organism, how will it survive without a heart, without a kidney, without something, right? I think your doubt has been cleared. Okay, doubt clear ಆಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. And someone has asked, sir, does the starfish come under an example of regeneration? Right, it is the question, right? Yes, under certain conditions, starfish also comes under the regeneration part. As an example, regeneration ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Starfish can regenerate, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋಂಥ ರೀಜನರೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಟ್ advanced type of regeneration that you observe. Okay, it can actually regenerate its lost limbs. Sometimes, even under some conditions, they will develop the whole organisms, ಅದರ whole ಬಾಡಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ರೀಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ವಿತ್ ದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ stem cells. Even our body has stem cells at some locations, so some of our part can be regenerated. Do you know, liver in our body, organ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ liver, it can be regenerated. Not all parts, liver can be regenerated. Okay, and some other question. How does regeneration help organism maintain their population even when physically damaged? Simple. See, let us imagine that this part is physically completely damaged. ಅದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, it is physically damaged, but this part is almost perfect. So what will happen, this will develop into a new organism. Now it will help the organisms to continue their population even when physically damaged. Not completely, okay, not completely, only a part will be helpful. Come, liver can be regenerated even if it is 50% damaged. 50% ವರೆಗೆ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ರೀಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರಾ? I guess that doubt. How does regeneration help in continuing the population even if it is physically damaged? If this part is damaged, okay, if this part is damaged, imagine that this part is damaged, but this is all perfect, it will fall off, new parts will be formed to that, and it will develop into and it will develop into new organism. Okay, it will develop into new organism. Now this is called as regeneration. Hope it is clear. Next is budding. Next is budding. What is budding? Budding is a small part of body. Bud, I think you might have heard about bud. Bud ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರ. A small part of the body of the parent organism grows out as a bud. It grows out as a bud. It grows out as a bud, which then detaches and becomes into a new organism. When small outgrowth takes place, that outgrowth will develop into new organism. For example, this is a plant body of hydra. A small outgrowth you can observe here. The small outgrowth form agide. That outgrowth enagutte, it will develop into a bud. That will develop into, it goes on developing, and later it will detach from the main plant body and develop into new organism. Okay, ಹೊಸ organism ಆಗಿ develop ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Sir, in all asexual reproduction, does the new organism produced have similar DNA of the parent, or will it differ, sir? It will not at all differ. It will not at all differ unless it undergoes mutation. Organism form ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆದರೆ, DNA change ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ their DNA will be different, or else if it is formed from asexual reproduction, then it will be same as that of their parental DNA. What is differentiation in cell? If I explain the definition, it will be complex for you. Let us just imagine there will be a cell. This cell do not know what to do. Okay, it goes on dividing, it will form new cells, but after certain time it undergoes maturation agutte, andre no change in shape will be there. Okay, there will be no change in shape alli yavade changes iralla. Okay, yavade changes iralla shape alli, there will be no change in shape, and it will be assigned to particular work. It will be assigned to particular work. ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಸೈನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, then shape change ಇರಲ್ಲ, division will not be there. Until then it do not have any work unless division. Other than division it will not have any work. It is like ನೀವು ಜನರಲಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು you go on just studying. First standard, after second standard, third standard, fourth, fifth, sixth. After certain age, you will be assigned to a work. ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ತೀರ, ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ಗೆ ಸೇರ್ತೀರ. That is like differentiation. You mature there. ಒಂದು maturation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now the cell knows what to do. Okay, now the cell knows what to do. Until then, it had only one work, that is division. So their division ability is lost. It also loses the ability to change its shape. ಅದರ shape ನ change ಮಾಡೋ ability ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. It will be assigned for particular work. That is known as differentiation. And can octopus be an example for fragmentation? Octopus is actually an example for regeneration. They are the good example for regeneration, because they can regenerate its lost arms, etc. Okay, they are the good example for regeneration. Then lizards, nice question. Are lizards example for regeneration? Not all the parts. Okay, you can't call lizard as a whole for an example as an example for regeneration. Okay, regeneration ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಲಿಸರ್ಡ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. its tail has the ability to regenerate, whole body do not have the ability to regenerate. Okay, so this is regarding budding. Then generally there is another type of asexual reproduction by asexual spore formation. Asexual spore formation, which is observed in plants and fungi and also in some of. Let me clarify these doubts. It is very good actually. Sir, it is multicellular organism and it goes to sexual reproduction. How it can come under regeneration? See, in octopus or in starfish or in lizard, regeneration is not a mode of reproduction. I'll make it clear for you. New organism in these will is not formed by regeneration. Only new organs are getting formed. For example, ನಮ್ಮ lizard ಅಲ್ಲಿ tail is formed by regeneration. It shows regeneration not as a mode of reproduction. Reproduction alla. Starfish ಅಲ್ಲಿ their limbs will be developed through regeneration, but it is not a type of reproduction. Reproduction andre eno, you have to know about reproduction at first. Reproduction is nothing but it is the production of new organism from already existing organism of the same species. New organism should be produced, but lizard ಅಲ್ಲಿ new organism production ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? No, only new tail is getting formed. Starfish ಅಲ್ಲಿ new organism production ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? No, only limbs are getting formed. Octopus ಅಲ್ಲಿ new organism form ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? No, only new parts are getting formed. Okay, these are all example free regeneration only, but in this regeneration is not a type of reproduction. They are all sexually reproducing organism. Even in lizard, sexual reproduction takes place, fusion of male and female gamete. Scientific name for touch me not plant is written here, please refer to this. Yes, so here spores ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, here they produce microscopic reproductive units called as spores. When the spore case of the plant bursts, for example, if you see here, this is a spore case inside of which you can observe millions of spores. When it bursts out, it releases spores. When it bursts out, it releases spores. These spores spread into air, and these airborne spores land on food or soil under favorable conditions. Like general ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು organism grow ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ it requires a favorable temperature, favorable water, etc. Okay, favorable pH ಇರಬೇಕು. When they are found, they germinate and produce into new plants. ಹೊಸ plants ಆಗಿ develop ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Sir, where hyphae are present in rhizopus? See, these are hyphae. These are hyphae. When these hyphae interconnect, that will be called as yeah, spores can stay alive long. Why? Because their cell walls are so thick. The cell walls are so thick, they can withstand even the extreme conditions. Extreme conditions na ತಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ. And ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಸೆಲ್ ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, the spores have a very thick cell wall which protects them from any extreme environment, and inside the cell generally those cells enter into a state of dormancy, and they will be inactive, but when it receives all those things that are needed by them, they will be active later. Clear? So this is spore formation. For example, rhizopus. Rhizopus is a fungus generally that grows on bread. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರೆಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂಥ ಫಂಗಸ್ is rhizopus. Okay, bread mold antanu we call them bread mold. Is this clear? Spore formation. Spores are nothing but seeds. The only difference between them is the seed is formed by sexual reproduction. Spore is formed directly from asexual reproduction. To be more specific, there will be a cell called as a spore mother cell, okay, which will be developed into spore. This undergoes division and they form spores. Spores na form ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. The one who is asking for the scientific name for touch me not plant, you better get a specs, because I have already written that here and I have said the name I guess thrice or 4 times. Please check on. So this is regarding the spore formation. Next is the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. Okay. What is a vegetative propagation? A vegetative propagation is nothing but where new plants are obtained from the parts of old plants like stem, root and leaves. That means vegetative parts. In a plant, there will be two types of parts, vegetative part and reproductive part. Vegetative part ಮತ್ತೆ reproductive part ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Which you want me to explain once again? Which topic you want me to explain once again? Yeah, in lizard some cells undergo regeneration, not the whole body. Lizard, starfish, they are all example for regeneration. Their parts have the ability to regenerate, but they do not reproduce through regeneration. You don't get confused between that. Which topic you want me to explain once again? Someone has asked me to explain once again. I don't know which topic. In vegetative reproduction, their body, there are two types of organs or cells, body cells and the reproductive cells. Okay, so spore formation. See, spores are nothing but they are the microscopic reproductive units. Microscopic reproductive units which will develop into new organism or new plant body. Okay, and these are produced through asexual mode. Asexual mode in the production of the spores. See, what happens when the spores case, for example, the one which you see here, these are all spore cases. This is also a spore case. Okay, this is a spore case, this is a spore case, this is a spore case, this one, they are all spore cases. When those spore cases burst out, the spores spread into air. Air ಗೆ spread ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, for example here, and they land on some soil or some food. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು food ಮೇಲೆ or some soil ಮೇಲೆ they land. See, like this they will land. Then when the conditions become favorable, when the temperature is perfect, when the water is ample, okay, when everything is perfect, they develop into new plant body. That is known as spore formation. Okay, spores, they develop into new plant body. Clear? In vegetative reproduction, the vegetative parts like stem, root, leaves of the old plants, they develop into new organisms. They develop into new organisms. Yeah, in potato it undergoes vegetative propagation through budding. Okay, they develop into new plants without the help of any reproductive organism. This type is known as vegetative propagation. There are two types of vegetative propagation. They are natural vegetative propagation and artificial vegetative propagation. Naturally For example, buds produced at the notches along the margins of bryophyllum, or as your friend already mentioned, on potato you see potato tuber mele you observe some buds formation. Okay, some bud form agudana you might have observed. So idella types, they are all natural propagation. They fall onto soil and develop into new plants. They fall onto soil, they develop into new plants. This is natural vegetative propagation. Whereas there is one more type, artificial, where it is a process of growing many plants from one plant by man-made methods. Highly made in commercial plants. If they are growing jasmine for commercial purpose, if they are growing sugarcane for commercial purpose, they want more plants. Sugarcane ಅಲ್ಲಿ seed in the through ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? You might have not seen. ರೋಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ seed ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆಸೋದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? No. What they do, they follow these three common methods. The three common methods are cutting, layering and grafting. Cutting, layering and grafting. What is cutting? Cutting means it involves cutting involves cutting a piece of plant and rooting it to produce new plant. For example, this is highly seen in rose plants. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. What they generally do, plant ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, a small part of the plant will be cut, and that plant part will be placed on soil and provided some nutrient supplements. It will start rooting and it will develop into new plant. That is known as cutting. Layering, it involves covering a branch of plant with the soil and then cutting it. First ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಹೀಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ನ ಈ ತರ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, rooting takes place there, root formation takes place. Then they will cut this plant and develop into a new plant body. ಹೊಸ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಾಗಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮೂರನೇದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್. It occurs when two different plant stems are joined. When there is a plant that produces red rose and there will be a plant that produces yellow rose ನ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರೆಡ್ ರೋಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Now he wants a plant that produces both yellow and red flowers. What he will do, he cuts a piece from here as well and joins them. Illondu gap ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Okay, that farmer will do a small gap there and he will place this stem here. After certain generations, it will start to produce both red as well as green colored or yellow colored flowers at the same plant. This is known as grafting. So these are the three methods of artificial vegetative propagation. See, in natural vegetative propagation, we need not cut or we need not interfere there. It happens in its own. For example, budding in bryophyllum or the budding in potato tuber. Okay, budding in potato tuber or buds produced in bryophyllum, they are naturally produced. They fall off from their body and develop into new organism, new plant. But in artificial, here we are growing more plants from one plant. The plants in the many plants now we want to grow. What do? We follow these three man-made methods like cutting, layering and grafting. Grafting. Cutting involves cutting a piece of a plant and rooting it to produce a new plant. One piece will be cut and it will be placed on the soil and required supplements will be produced. It will be developed into new plant. Layering means it involves covering a branch of plant with the soil. When it is within the plant only, they will be covered with the soil. Cover hagtar on soil na cover ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. What happens? It will start producing roots. Then that part is cut and placed. Grafting, here mixing of two different types of plant takes place. Not two different species, two different plant stems. When two different plant stems are joined and they grow as a single plant. Okay, so this is regarding vegetative propagation. The next parts will be done in the coming classes. Hope these things are clear. Okay, when will you do physics? I uh, i have done my MSc in botany, so I have no knowledge regarding physics, so I can't do physics. The physics lecturer will do physics. Okay, physics lecturer physics ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. I will not do physics. So I guess all the topics are clear. All the topics are clear. ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಹೊಸತು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದವರು ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರೋರು ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು. Our college has been famous for doing these ಟಾಪ್ ನಾಚ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಆಫ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ ಇನ್ನೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಮ್ ಸೀಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರೋವಂಥದ್ದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಬಂದು ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಈ ಥರದ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿಸಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್. ಐ ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಮಚ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್. ಆರ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್. And recently we had a 4-5 days of Excel Parba, our college day, which bloomed energy in most of all the students. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ತಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ ಪರ್ಬ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಊರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹಬ್ಬದ ಥರ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇವೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಡೀತು. ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಡೂ ಕಮ್ ಟು ದಿ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೂ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ MBBS ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಸೆ ಇರಲಿದ್ದರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್. ಶೋ ದೆಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡೆಸ್ಟಿನೇಷನ್. ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಟ್ ಎನಿ ಟೈಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೊ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲಿಸನಿಂಗ್.